What's up, y'all? It's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building. I'm gonna be breaking down Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland. This is an awesome fight right here. I love this fight. I've been kind of iffy on this fight, man. I've been on the fence to think who I think is gonna win this, but yeah, let's get to it. If we look at the stats, if we go to the UFC rankings, actually. To see where these guys are ranked. Brunson is, Derek Brunson is number 7 and Kevin Holland is number 10 in the rankings, which is really interesting. Brunson comes in 21-7, decent record. Is fighting out of Florida right now. I think Stanford MMA, that's the gym. Age 37, height of 6'1", and a reach is 77. Kevin Holland is ranked, we already know, number 10. He's 21-5, fights at Fort Worth, Texas, age 28, height 6'3", and a reach of 81, which is really interesting. These guys are good, man. Both these guys are good fighters, honestly. Derek is kind of in a gatekeeper role, and, Kevin is an up-and-comer. But we look at the guys they fought, right? We look at Derek Brunson, right? We honestly look at this guy, and you got to give him some credit, man. He gets a lot of hate from the fans, I guess for not being a good striker. But we look at the guys he's fought and the guys he's beaten, right? You start to really think like, man, this guy's, he's a really good fighter. You look, he has a win over Lawrence Larkin. He does have that loss to Yoel Romero, but if we're really honest about that Yoel Romero fight, he was winning that fight. You go rewatch that fight. He was doing great. He was taking Romero down and stuff like that. He did awesome. He just kind of got tired and gassed, and Romero, he gave him that third round special. Third round Romero is a different beast. He did lose to Jacare Souza a while back in Strikeforce, their first fight actually. And yeah, he had a decent career in the pro circuit and at Strikeforce. Goes to the UFC, beats Chris Lieben, Ed Herman, knocks him out, Sam Alvey, and then knocks out Uriah Hall, right? That's insane for a wrestler of his caliber, right? And I guess a striker of his level to knock out a guy like Uriah Hall. That's nuts, man. Then he fights Robert Whitaker. That was shameful. He looked like a complete fool in there. I can't really give him any excuses in that matchup. But fights Anderson Silva. I thought he won that fight, but they really didn't do anything. Beats Daniel Kelly. I know some people are like, who the fuck is Daniel? Hey, Daniel Kelly at the time beat, I think, Rashad Evans, which was, oh my god, was that, dude? That was so heartbreaking for me. And I like Rashad. I kind of grew up with Rashad, right? And to see him lose, that was so nasty. And then he knocks out Lyoto Machida right in the first round. Then gets matched up with Jacare Souza in a rematch, UFC Fight Night rematch. And man, did Jacare put that dude in his place, man. Probably one of Jacare's best, I wouldn't say his best one, but one of his comeback, let motherfuckers know performances. Y'all must have forgot kind of performances. And man, that was beautiful. And he did it in Derek's hometown in Charlotte, which was really interesting too. So yeah, and then he fights Israel Adesanya, man, and that was, beyond shameful. He had so many good wrestling positions too. He had double unders in there, and he couldn't really do anything with Adesanya. He looked like a complete fool in there. The problem, Derek, he's been riddled with these kind of problems in his career where, he's so predictable, kind of like Curtis Blades a little bit. But the difference between him and Curtis is that Curtis was in the heavyweight division and he could kind of get away with some of the mistakes he was making. Derek, you can't get away with that kind of mistakes at the top 5. And obviously, again, you look at the guys he's lost to: Adesanya, Yoel Romero, Jacare Souza, Robert Whitaker, all top 5 guys. No, none of them are all Jacare Souza, former Strikeforce champion. Yoel Romero, in my humble opinion, the people's uncrowned champion for a long time in that division, at least for 2 years while Robert Whitaker was the champion. In my humble opinion, I thought he beat Israel Adesanya at 248. So that's it. So he hasn't lost to any bad guys. And then, the Adesanya performance, that one had to hurt the, confidence. He went out pretty bad in that fight. But And then ever since then, right? And I'll be honest, I have not picked against Derek Brunson since the Jacare Souza fight. So since the second one, I'm saying I picked against him against when he fought Jacare. I thought Jacare was gonna beat him, and not like that. But I thought he was, I'm not gonna lie. I thought Brunson was gonna humble Adesanya. He didn't do that. But yeah, ever since then, he has done me right, and he's on a 3-fight win streak over Elias Theodore. I kind of knew he should be Elias. And then Ian Heinisch. That was kind of risky on my part to pick Brunson in that. But Heinisch kind of, again, he sold the bag. And Edmund Shabazian, that's on my channel. Some of these aren't on my channel, but I know. I'll be honest with you guys if I'm lying or not. But dude, man, that it's on my. I think I'll link the predictions, and I think I have timestamps, and so you can just go straight. I picked Brunson to beat Edmund Shabazian. I have been so impressed and not impressed with Derek Brunson lately. Like, you compare Edmund Shabazian, that performance Brunson had over him, to the performance that he had against Israel. You can see legitimate changes he's made to his game, but they're not like big changes, right? He doesn't rush. He's going back to that kind of, he'll lull you to sleep, and he's implemented body kicks to his game. I've noticed his defense is a little better. But the way he throws punches kind of improved. His chin isn't completely out the air, and the way he doesn't look like he's in the street, hood fighting. Before, that's what he used to look like. Now it's like it's a little more comparable. I think he looks a lot better. I will say that, a lot better, but he doesn't look great. I don't see a championship level caliber fighter. I picked Brunson to beat Edmund, but like after, this is a weird thing MMA fans do. And I think a lot of people picked Edmund. So when Brunson beat Edmund, like, oh shit, Derek Brunson's back. Derek Brunson 2.0. And it's like, I don't think he's that much better. I don't think, like, I still think Robert Whittaker, I think all those guys in top 5 mark his face up and whoop on him. I still think that happens. But I do think he's gotten a little better. And Derek is, quintessentially one of the best gatekeepers right now. Like, I think he really is a legitimate gatekeeper, and he does his job. He does his fucking job. But against Edmund, he looked really, really good in there. His wrestling looked his one of my biggest problems with Brunson was how he sets up his takedowns. And his striking wasn't setting up his wrestling. His wrestling looked so obvious. Now, against Edmund, it looked really good. Edmund was in my humble opinion, a small middleweight going in there. He looked like a little boy when he fought Brunson. So that's one thing to look at. But, when I look at a guy like Brunson, as much as I can critique him, he's been looking good. I can't lie about that. And just even he has a different, he keeps his hands up a little bit. Like, it's like kind of like this. But, prior to it was right here, his hands right here. So it's like, I think that's a lot better than what he's been doing now. So it's like, I see a lot of the improvements. I see what Henry Hooft is trying to do with the guy, but it just doesn't seem enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't seem like he's made a big enough step to really look like a legitimate guy. And that's how I feel about it. But I still think he has enough to beat some of these young guns. But if we look at a guy like Kevin Holland, and man, the year of 2020 he had was insane. He killed it. Knocking out Anthony Hernandez, knocking out Joaquin Buckley, beating Darren Stewart, which is something we got to talk about, in a split decision, beating Charlie Ontiveros, and capping everything off with knocking out Jacare Souza, a common opponent that Derek Brunson has had trouble with, that Kevin Holland dealt easily with. So that's really amazing what he's been able to do. He's been, everything he's done. And he was on the Joe Rogan podcast with his boy Travis Lutter. Very, very interesting bunch. But Kevin Holland has always looked like a legitimate guy. One of his first fights was against fucking Thiago Santos. Like, then he goes beats John Phillips. Then he has a really close fight with Gerald Meerschaert. Went to a split decision. He has a fight with Leslie DiChirico, and then he has that loss to Brendan Allen, right? That's something to talk about. He also has some other losses on his record. I think he has a loss to does have a loss to Curtis Melinder, and Rafael Lovato Jr. But he does have wins over Jeff Neal, if that still matters anymore, which is interesting. But these are things you look at, and it's interesting. He's a really, really good fighter. He's, I think, a talented guy. I think I prefer him a lot better than our current middleweight champion we have now in Israel Adesanya. He's a funnier guy. He has good hands. I think his boxing's really good. He has a wacky style. He does a lot of weird kung fu shit. It doesn't really have good kicks. I will say that. I'm sorry. He doesn't really have good kicks. I just don't see like a Muay Thai level of kicks out of him. I wouldn't be too surprised if we start seeing Derek Brunson try to outkick Kevin Holland in this fight. I really wouldn't be too surprised. Now, would that lead to Derek Brunson's downfall? I could see Derek trying to throw a body kick. Kevin Holland catches it and lands that straight right. We could see that. But, back to Kevin Holland, though. Kevin Holland's career has been really, really phenomenal. You can't really lie. This year has been, awesome. He's looked like a problem. I picked against him. I picked right for most of his last 5 fights. I think he had 5, right? I picked those right. Jacare Souza, that's where I doubted him. I thought Jacare was gonna get it done, and I felt like Jacare got caught. I will be honest. I think Jacare got caught. I don't think Jacare's shot or he's past his prime. Jacare's still the same guy that went to a split decision with Jan Blachowicz. I remember I was watching with one of my homies, and one of my homies thought Jacare won that fight against Jan Blachowicz. Now, I don't agree with that, but I can see it, though. I understand why he feels that way. But the fight was super boring. So it is what it is. But it's an interesting matchup. I've talked about Kevin Holland and what he's accomplished. But what he was able to do, back to Holland one more time, what he was able to do to Jacare, in the guard, was super, super impressive. He has dynamites in his hands. What he did to Buckley in the 3rd round, knocking him down. He knocked him down twice, if you remember. So he has real legitimate dynamite. Just precision straight, fucking right hand to the chin. You can't do anything about it, man. The guy touches your chin and you're out. So he's really, really good. He has good hands. I honestly believe that. So he's dangerous. And he is good. I feel like he's good off his back. But, if I could see, I'll talk about how Kevin Holland beats Derek Brunson. I think it has to be early. It can't be late. I don't think he beats him late. And I just, maybe 2nd or 1st round, or maybe even 3rd round. That's as late as Kevin. I give Kevin a shot to win this. By catching him. And it's an uppercut. He doesn't have a knee like that, like a Adesanya precision knee. His striking isn't as good. I like his striking. I think he's fun to watch, but he doesn't have what Adesanya had to hurt Brunson. Brunson, I wouldn't say Brunson has a trash chin. The problem with Brunson is that it's almost like his chin is like a magnet for bad shots. He gets hit with bad shots that should kill people. I remember when he fought Ian Heinisch, he got caught with a horrible left high kick, and he was able to really wrestle Ian and pick him up and slam him, right? It's wild, a lot of guys I could think of. I remember even against Edmund Shabazian, Edmund caught Brunson in the 1st round with some good straight rights to his dome piece. So it's not that Brunson has a bad chin. He just gets hit with a lot of good shots that he shouldn't be getting hit with, but because he has, I think he likes to get hit, but punches, they get him, but he doesn't have, it's like you kind of have to hurt, really hurt him, to get him out of there. I don't think, unless it's an uppercut from Holland or a straight right from good distance, that's where I can see Holland getting him. On the ground, do I think Holland could submit him? I don't think so. I don't think he can submit Brunson. Do I think he can do what he did again? Like what he did to Jacare to Brunson? I don't think so. I think that was just one of them situations. Just he caught Jacare, y'all. You know what Holland really reminds me of? And I know this is gonna piss Nico Price. And Nico could never go on a fight win streak. I will admit that. But he reminds me a lot of Nico. I like Nico Price a lot, but that's what he reminds me like. And his body, his length. Um, yeah. So those are the ways I can see Holland winning. The reason why I haven't brought up Brunson in a minute is Brunson has an ace up his sleeve. He has a big ace, and I'll show you guys the picture in this video. Brunson is working out with Brendan Allen, and Brendan Allen was one of the last guys to beat Kevin Holland, and that Brendan Allen loss is shameful. Brendan Allen is not a bad fighter, I would say. I think he was ranked at some point in his career. I think so, and then he lost to Sean Strickland. So at one point, I considered Brendan Allen a good fighter. At one point, and now it's just I don't know what I don't know what Brendan Allen is anymore. But Brandon does know how to beat Kevin Holland. The way Brandon was able to run right through Holland's reach and just get past that length and just whoop on him and clinch him up and beat up on him and get him to the ground. And that was not a good fight for Kevin. And Brunson's training with him. That is, a big ace up his sleeve. I've been really, really stuck. Me and my boy SSG was talking about this matchup, and I was just telling him how stuck I was. Like, dude, I just do not know. I don't know who wins this fight. I really don't. And I'm starting to really believe that Brunson takes this. Like, Brunson has been really good to me. He's won me 3 fights. Like, honestly, I picked him. But usually you have to be smart about what bandwagon you leave when you're doing these picking games. And I think I'm not. I like Kevin Holland a lot, y'all, but I think Brunson gets this done, man. With the fact that his wrestling and somewhat of his striking game has improved by a little bit, and the fact that he's training with Brendan Allen, that ace up his sleeve, in my humble opinion, I think he wins this fight. I do have him winning by decision. I think Brunson gets hurt the first 2 rounds, and I think Kevin Holland gets tired. Brunson, he looked alive in the 3rd round against Edmund Shabazian. When Kevin Holland fought Darren Stewart, he looked dead in the 3rd round. These are things you have to look at. I think Brunson takes this. I never thought I would say this. I was actually going to go with Kevin Holland, y'all. Like, I made up my mind, and I'm not going to lie. UFC 4 has probably changed my mind a lot. Like, I made a video, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be honest right here, about early predictions about Vicente versus Woodley. And now I've completely switched on. I think Woodley's going to beat Vicente because of UFC 4. Same thing with this with the Kevin Holland fight. I think Brunson gets this done. I really do. I don't know why, but I think just looking at tape, and I've been watching some tape on these guys, I think Brunson going to get this done by decision. I think it's going to be 3-2 Brunson. Maybe a draw, maybe a split decision. I could see that. I think this is going to be a good fight. I just do not think Kevin Holland is ready for Brunson's. He has a different kind of grind. Brunson got a different kind of grind. And I think Brunson takes this. I know it's crazy. And I like Kevin, bro. I want to see Kevin knock him out. I really do, y'all. But I think Brunson gets this done by decision, man. And I don't hate Brunson. Brunson's a good family guy. I like Brunson a lot, too. I like both of these guys. They're both, like, it's so funny how they hate each other and they're polar opposites of each other. But I think Brunson gets this done. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, though. This is it. I got Brunson by decision. I'm taking him. And it is what it is. Don't forget to follow me on my Twitter. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram. If you're new, subscribe, share the video. Go click the notification button, like, comment, do all those things for me. Let's get this eBay Fight Prediction Nation growing. We're out here working, y'all. I couldn't talk for a second. But yeah, love y'all and goodbye.